Muslim, Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, and atheist, one, two, and all in between. This is for the absolute positive, good God and truth of your lives, only crossing to an infinite, bigger and better, here and now, alive forever. Negativity is the state, all in body of atom matter evolved, is stated with decay and disintegration, static, twisted, scattered, blindly undefined. And if it's a man or a woman, negativity can only be stated through the faith of you, okay? Because all else is only crossing more positive than anything negative about them if they're a man or a woman. Again, negativity is the decay and disintegration, the suffering and death of everybody, of everything, everywhere. And if you don't know this because you've been taught that things crisscross bad, evil, and sinful, right? You won't always just take what's negative in your life and make it more positive, the negative always. And if you're not always doing that, right, you're always in a state of radioactive decay and disintegration for it. And I'll explain. Again, everything's made of atom matter evolved everywhere, everybody, okay? And as a man or a woman, right, your atoms, like all atoms, are created with protons, neutrons, and the electron fields of them, okay? And depending on how you take in the electron field of you, right, the positive and negative energy around you, right, is depending on how you're digesting it, either more positive or more negative to your reality, okay? Now, every time you cross more positive than negative, right, from the inside out at 360 degrees, it states you good as truth. That's how you feel, that's how you are, that's how reality reflects back to you. But every time you're not, right, you crisscross negative with the negativity, right? It is the bad, evil, sinful way of your body. And this is what happens. Inside each of these atoms are protons and neutrons. The protons are 2 up quarks of energy, 1 down quark of energy. And the neutrons are 2 down quarks of energy and 1 up quark of energy. Okay? Now, no neutrons are neutral, and they are nothing of a charge. And if they're not always stabilized more positive than anything negative about them, right? They're always in a state of radioactive decay and disintegration, mutating the embodiment of matter they are. With decay and disintegration, right? A radioactive he shaft on the matter to one nothing of it here and now. Okay? Now, a neutron is the matter and the soul of you, but it can't sustain its own positive energy. Okay? And without it always being overwhelmed more positive than negative, it's always, again, in a state of radioactive decay and disintegration to the embodiment of matter that it's stating. And just like on the outside of an atom, right, whenever a neutron isn't overwhelmed more positive than negative, it's in a state of decay and disintegration, right, to the one nothing of it. And when it's part of a neutron star, if it's not overwhelmed more protonic than anything negatively neutronic about it, it eventually crisscrosses to a pulsar, which in return causes it to collapse into a black hole abyss, because the energy of it is being erratically snaked back and forth from positive to negative, because no neutrons could sustain their own positive energy. And it collapses into a black hole abyss, just infinitely negative of it here and now. And this is what you do with your body when you crisscross with faith. See, no faith can sustain you good as truth. The only thing that can sustain you good as truth is to always cross more positive than negative. And no faith only articulates that way, or we'd all just be good for our faith as truth. So every time you crisscross with faith, right, it's a snake of negative energy, right? From positive to negative on your matter. You see, all faith has a spectrum. Now, this spectrum's positive and negative, the more positive your faith is, right, the closer you are to being good in that moment as truth. But if it's not lasting, right, only more positive than negative because you are a faithful stated person, then it's always crisscrossing the spectrum negatively deficient, okay? And over a volume of time, when it does that with the neutrons of you, right, crisscrossing negative with negativity, the atom matter can't sustain the protonic energy of it, right? And what happens is you become a he shaft of the devilish hells of you. I mean, the cross negative with negativity is the he shafting devilish hells of you, right? Through this false articulation of a bad, evil, sinful way. And it causes your body to mutate and age out. And eventually, right, your body cannot sustain that through extremes and time, and you collapse into a black hole abyss, just infinitely negative of you here and now forevermore, to the good truth of your shape, form, and mass, to the reality check of your atom matter evolved, right? Snaked out of existence by the devilish hells of you. The state of one more positive than negative is the only light, joy, warmth, good God, or truth, holy with spirit, all of all will ever know or be. It's the state that all in body of atom matter evolved is stated good to the truth of God, of their shape, form, and mass, only crossing to an absolute bigger, better here and now of reality check with the buildings, trees, you, me, every body of everything, creation applied one to the here and now existence of all, God, truth, reality check. To state more positive than negative is the only state that all prayers are answered in, all dreams come true in, all miracles happen in, and it's the only heavenly abode and paradise you will ever know or be in. Okay? When you plug a plug into the wall, right, the positive energy better outweigh anything negative about that plug, because if it don't, your house will burn down, or you won't have enough energy for your appliances to sustain. And your body's the same way, right? If you don't overwhelm anything more positive than negative, right, to keep you good as truth, you won't be, and you won't be able to sustain. But if you plug a plug into the wall, right, and the positive outweighs anything negative about that plug, right, your house is good, that's the truth, and your appliances will have absolutely the energy they need to sustain, okay? And it's the one same with your body, and there's a 0 chance, right, that you can burn out or not have enough energy to sustain that rightful, truthful way. You're half male and you're half female. You're half protons, you're half neutrons, right? You're half positive energy and you're half negative matter, okay? Now, this negative matter, right, is not bad, evil, or sinful, right? It's just not energy. So it's negative to the good truth of what energy is, always a positive field, right? Only crossing to the bigger and better of it here and now, okay? Unless it is a deduction on itself to one nothing through the neutronic energy of it, okay? Now, here's the thing about that, right? We know that neutrons aren't protons and protons aren't neutrons, okay? And again, if the neutrons of you, right, if the female part of all you are of matter, right, isn't overwhelmed more positive, right, with protonic energy, right, It's no good as truth, and that no good as truth is your shape, form, and mass as an expression from you from the inside out at 360 degrees. It articulates back to your reality check. Okay? Now, the neutron, again, is the soul and the matter of you. And this soul and matter of you is always craving to be more positive than negative. Okay? And as long as you connect to the protons of you, the positive energy of all creation of existence, right? Well, then it overwhelms anything negatively deficient about the neutron, and it makes it nothing. Okay? And to be more positive than negative only states you good as true from the inside out at 360 degrees, an absolute articulation back as a reflection of you back to the here and now of reality check, from the mind through the body to the world. And Jesus knew this, you see. Jesus was only a man, right? He was only one more positive than all negativity, good as the truth of God of him, right? They put him on the cross. The thief believed. They bonded more positive than anything negatively deficient, hanging that fool out to one neutral nothing, and all them fools that put him on the cross, and they stole their lives back. The thief rode back the tomb, let Jesus out, sent him on his rightful, truthful way, alive and well, because you can't kill something more positive than negative, right? Mary seen the thief, asked where Jesus went. He showed her, and she gave him a kiss and called him an angel. And this is how this story went, as he was standing there shining more positive than negative, alive and well. And in reality check, every time you crisscross with faith, right, it's a gamble and it's a crapshoot on your life lasting. Like I said, man, all faith has positive variables, but it's a spectrum from positive to negative that you don't even know exists, because in a faithful world, you are stating blindly that things cross bad, evil, and sinful, or even that they cross good, but the good isn't good and the bad isn't bad. The good is the positive of you, and the bad is the negative of you, okay? And just like the Gospel of Philip says, the good isn't good and the bad isn't bad, right? And if you know that this is a spectrum, right, and anything more positive, right, is the good truth of you, right? And to only cross that way will be the absolute bigger and better of you being more and more positive, more and more good as truth, right? In reality, you can't be destroyed. But in this spectrum, right, if you don't know to always stay that way or to only cross that way, right, bigger and better than all negativity, when you feel it, you are always crisscrossing back and forth from positive to negative, erratic with the energy of you on the neutrons of you. And to crisscross again with negativity is the he shafting devilish hells of all people, places, and things. And it is the only bad, evil, sinful articulation of your faith. And the only way you can crisscross negative with negativity is through the faith of you, because again, all else is crossing more positive than that always. God is the good of all. Any God that you think of better be more positive than all negativity. This universe, right, is a positive universe. It has you here and now, right, as the here and now of it, more positive than anything negative that would not have it or you here and now. You were only created as a child of God, one more positive here and now than all negativity, cradled by the universe and the earth, right, Mother Earth, right, bigger and better than all negativity. God, again, is only the good of you, and that good is only stated one more positive than all negativity, or it is no kind of God. It's the he shafting devilish hells of your faith. And the earth, right, if it doesn't sustain and shine more positive through the sun, if the sun doesn't shine on the earth more positive and protonic than anything negatively neutronic about the earth, no life as we know it can keep existing. If you don't shine more positive than anything negatively neutronic about your life, you can't keep existing. In the beginning, right, The earth was a true sister reflection with pyramids all over all of the one God, the Son of God, the good God and truth of Jesus Christ, of the reality check of the Adam man evolved of all I am at every point in time and space, holy with the Spirit of God, more positive than negative. The absolute bigger, better Adamist man evolved of all I am. But it was he shafted by a snake god devil. It was Shiva shafted by a snake god devil. And what happened, right, is it lost the articulation of the megalithic world to always come back more positive than negative, because Adam, which was the god and the king of this megalithic world, he was he shafted when it happened, right? And he lost his bearings on reality, okay? And he woke up in the garden. He knew he was created good. He knew he was created to never be destroyed. He knew he was created to never die. But he couldn't get his bearings on reality, on how to always cross more positive than negative to keep him good as truth. He lost that articulation through the world being he shafted. In the same way, the earth was snaked from positive to negative, right? His mind through faith was snaked, right? Through positive and negative, taking on the faith of Eve, the fruit of faith, which was a bushwhacking he shaft on their matter, on his matter, on their matter. And in reality check, he lived 930 years, right? In a desolate world that was shafted, and he did not know how to always bring his life and reality back more positive to keep him good as truth. And he eventually died of it, and he cursed us to it, because if Adam would have brought Eve back more positive than all negativity, that's all Cain and Abel would have been. That's all the world would be, because there's no absolute bigger, better articulation than to do more positive than negative for your fellow man, right? Love your neighbor like you love yourself. Protect them like your own soul, like the pupils of your eyes, they are, you are. And that's why I do this, man. Because in reality check, right, we are not animals. You can tell a doggy or a monkey, sit, stay, lay, good, bad. They'll understand those basic commands, but they'll never understand to go do something more positive than anything negative about them. It's the only way you can add up, stay, or be good as truth, only to an absolute bigger, better here and now, be alive and well. The smartest monkey or dog or animal will never get that. How about you? Because all else, right, as far as mankind's concerned, if you can't comprehend that, right, you're living and dying like animals. And the devil of this world, right, any god you can think of that doesn't cross you more positive than negative, right, the he shafting articulation of Shiva, Yaldabaoth, Yahweh, right, is killing you out like a dumb animal. You hear me? And you're living and dying like animals, and it's a sad state of affairs, because the buildings, trees, the animals, right, any inanimate object can't sustain its own positive energy, but we have minds, and we are the children of the true God, the living God, the one who shines through me every day, all day. And if you know to take and cross all that you are, one with God, one more positive than any negativity that can destroy you, right? One with the universe that creates, that cradles you, more positive than anything negative that could destroy you here and now, right? With the good truth of God of Jesus Christ, one more positive by example than any negativity of him, right? You will be good as truth, and anywhere it's not, right, on the planet stated that way, right, it's stated through faith, and it's only negative of it, right? It's the bad, evil, sinful way of it. And it's a sad state of affairs, and I'm not having it, you know. Life is precious, right? This is a miracle that we're in, and people need to wake up. And that is a fact of God check. From the fool thief man, God King, Adam Man, first evolved, the triple male of all I am, the Father, Son, and Theban, Holy Spirit of all mankind's negativity, the one neutral nothing I am. I absolutely positively am. King Adamus of all, God, truth, reality check, I am. A fact of God check, God, truth, a reality check. Peace.